It is the lives we encounter that makes life worth living.
I joined Baldwins in 1967 after working at St. Charles Convent. Mr. Covey was the principal. At that time, I taught Standard 2.
Welcome everyone. That was the voice of Ms.Elissa Veeranna, former English teacher, retired teacher, aging gracefully in Bangalore, another legend of Baldwin Boys High School. Right up to the 70s or 80s, if you entered Baldwin Boys High School from the Richmond Road end, the very first building on the right-hand side was a white English-style structure with this gable roof known as Toussaint Memorial Hall. The narrow flight of stairs led to a tiny timber-floored chapel. And alongside this chapel were 6 classrooms at a lower level. The corner classroom on the left-hand side was that of Ms.Elissa Veeranna, where she imparted some of the finest education and taught over 1,000 plus students. We were fortunate to be one of hers and we were prized possession. Ms. Veeranna was a person of multifarious fine qualities. Her gentleness, her kindness, her politeness, her grace, her taste for attire left an indelible mark on myself and thousands of students who have passed through their lives in Baldwins. But above all, she had the dynamics of being one of the finest English teacher one could ever learn from. To speak more about it, my fellow batchmate from halfway across the planet, Edinburgh, Scotland, Sanjay, had this to share.
It was my first English class in Baldwin. In walks Ms. Veeranna and writes an O on the blackboard and says, every English word must sound like an O. That became my North Star in how to speak English. Miss not only taught us how to read and write English, she also taught us how to speak English the correct way, with the right diction. Speaking any language, I have found out since, is the most important aspect of a language. Reading and writing comes later. I've been privileged to be taught by the best, and I mean the best in the world, a teacher who not only taught us the language, but the nuances of the language, how it's spoken, how it's written, how it is understood, how it is perceived. I live in Britain, have traveled almost all over the world, and I haven't met anyone with the grasp of the language and the ability to communicate in that language as Miss Veeranna. It's a privilege to be taught by her, the best in the world. Thank you, Miss.
William Arthur Ward had said that teaching is more than imparting knowledge. It is inspiring change. Teachers like Ms. Veeranna went the extra mile to ensure that every student had upgraded their skill to the expected standard. Sudhakar, another batchmate of mine, had this experience.
Hi, Rohit. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Veeranna on this special occasion of Guru Purnima. It's a Hindu festival for thanking our gurus. It was in the year between 1985-86. Ms. Veeranna was my English teacher and also a class teacher during my 6th grade. After the first English weekly test, Ms. Veeranna happened to called me upon, and she was informing me that I was not good in cursive writing. And Ms. Veeranna did not stop just at that. She in fact bought a 4-line notebook for me and held my hands and taught me cursive writing during the lunch break sessions every day for more than 2 weeks in a row, taking her lunch break sessions for many days and ensuring I learned cursive writing. By end of the year, I was able to write in English cursive writing very fluently. If today I am writing something on a paper in cursive format, I should thank Ms. Veeranna for taking that time out of her lunch session and helping me in making me what I am today. I should thank ma'am for going an extra mile for ensuring her students are successful. Thank you.
Negotiating reason with a rowdy bunch of 2nd graders, a classroom of nearly 40 to 60 students, is a true test of character, resilience, and patience from a teacher's point of view. Ms. Veeranna handled with politeness, calmness and composure. This is Shoaib Rahman's story.
Going to school at an early age was a big trauma for me until class 2, when Mrs. Veeranna happened to be my class teacher, and her warmth, her grace, and her compassionate attitude made it feel at home for all of us to be in school. And I remember second standard as one of my good years in school, after which I really started enjoying going to school. Following which, we were fortunate enough to have her as our class teacher in class 6th as well. And she had a very warm smile which lit up the entire classroom. And her teaching skills were par excellence. And I always remember her as someone who was very kind, very compassionate, hardly seen her punishing anybody in school. And she happens to easily be amongst my favorite teachers at school. I wish her all the very best and always remember her very fondly.
Some of us were acquainted with Ms. Veeranna outside of Baldwin Boys High School too. She was and still is lovingly known as Lisa Auntie to many of us. Lisa Auntie had other talents as well. Present-day choir directors and singers, hear me out when I make this statement. Lisa Auntie was one of the finest descant sopranos Bangalore has ever heard in the 70s and 80s. She, alongside Dr. Kitty David, Dr. Helen Samuel, Miss Rani Williams, Miss Parker, formed a formidable force, singing with the Bangalore Musical Association under the baton of the late, great J.T. William Joseph. Asha Elijah and Anu Elijah, who are also family, sang in this famous choir alongside Lisa Auntie in the 70s and 80s. Lisa Auntie also happens to be the godmother of Anu Elijah. Today we have Asha Elijah to share her timeless golden memories singing alongside Lisa Auntie.
Ms.Elissa Veeranna, known as Auntie Lisa to my siblings and I, is my father's cousin. I have many happy memories as a young child of playtimes with her and her sisters Beulah and Amy. Something exciting always happened when she was around, like Easter egg treasure hunts, interesting Christmas and birthday presents, storytelling and delicious ham sandwiches elegantly served on quarter plates with cloth serviettes. Then we moved away from Bangalore and didn't see each other for many years. When I came to Bangalore for my graduate studies, one of the first houses I visited was number 12 Pettigrew Street. The three sisters lived there now, along with yet another sister, Charlotte. Sheila and her husband Raji joined them later with their children, and they were a lively household. Soon my family moved back to Bangalore and our visits to the aunts were more frequent. Sunday mornings after church was a favorite visiting time, and we often found our way to their home for a chat session, reminiscing about our common family ties, among other things. Playing instruments and singing has always been a part of my life as I come from a musical family. One day, Auntie Lisa asked us if we would like to join the Bangalore Musical Association, where she sang regularly. My parents used to sing with this well-known choir in the 60s, so my siblings and I trotted off with Auntie Lisa for our first practice at the BMA. We soon became enthusiastic members and spent many happy years singing along with Auntie Lisa and others under the magical baton of Maestro J.T. William Joseph. Auntie Lisa loved to shop, and I bumped into her and her sister several times on Brigade and MG roads, intent on shopping sprees. Sometimes her nephews and nieces were the recipients of her largesse. Sometimes it was her friends and colleagues who were the lucky ones. On her retirement, Auntie Lisa became a TV buff. She enjoyed watching soap operas like The Bold and the Beautiful and never missed an episode. Along with her sister, she would sit up late, glued to the TV, exclaiming over all the dramatic scenes, and had her handkerchief ready for the emotional parts. I like to think of Auntie Lisa as a natural beauty, always well groomed, with matching jewelry, her hair swirled neatly, her makeup impeccable, and enveloped in expensive perfume. Her charm and gregarious personality were a magnet for both the young and the old. She was a bit of a daredevil and drove a scooter to work in an age when women scooterists were a rare sight. Her students at Baldwin Boys High School adored her, and many of them still keep in touch. She continues to live at number 12 Pettigrew Street, although all her sisters have gone ahead of her, strangely in order of their age. I visit her sometimes and we chat about the old days. Her beauty is ageless, both inside and out. She is surrounded by the love of her family and students, so she is never alone.
Thank you, Asha. We heard from former students and family, and I'm sure it was a delight to work alongside Ms.Elissa Veeranna. Well, I did for under a year, and she was the same kind mentor who always advised us and kept us on the right track to achieve success. She also worked alongside my mother for over 2 decades, from the 70s to the mid-90s, before she retired. But to bring more about the joys of being a colleague, we have Mrs. Grace David, former English teacher of Baldwin Boys, sharing her golden memories.
Boarding a BTS bus, flying especially for school children and staff members, a lady with a lovely smile, immaculately dressed and full of life, suddenly tells the conductor to wait while she quickly ran down to the nearby lane. Both the conductor and the driver oblige, as she was a regular in the bus, thinking that there was some emergency. And what was this emergency? The lady had suddenly realized that she had one earring on and had forgotten to wear the other. She would not have been seen without any earrings, or worse still, with only one. Hence this whole exercise. The lady was none other than Ms.Elissa Veeranna, a senior member of staff at Baldwin Boys High School and fondly known as Lisa. Lisa matched her jewelry with her beautiful saris, and only she would carry off all the baubles and trinkets that she wore, looking so smart and elegant. Lisa was a very friendly and down-to-earth person, and working with her for over 30 years as a colleague and friend was indeed a pleasure. Lisa was enthusiastic in all that she did, very gentle and kind. She went out of her way to make me feel relaxed and at home when I joined the school. Lisa was full of life, ready to laugh at all times, but expected her juniors to be hardworking and meticulous in their work. She was very soft-spoken, never raised her voice, but was firm, and discipline was of great importance to her. Lisa was an excellent teacher, very particular about her diction and enunciating her words, and made sure that every student understood what she taught. Apart from her teaching skills, Lisa was a great singer and actress. She taught the boys in the centenary choir and also the school staff to sing in parts. She directed many a play for prize distribution at Christmas time and even during the centenary celebrations. She loved to take part in the Children's Day program, dance, sing, and act. She would also train her students for speeches for Independence Day, Republic Day, and elocution contests. Working with Lisa for any extra and co-curricular activities was always a joy because she was very, very meticulous but very patient towards those of us who worked along with her. She never hogged the limelight but always acknowledged and gave credit where it was due. Baldwin Boys High School will never see the likes of another Elissa Veeranna anywhere in the near future. I thank her ever so much for being a mentor and guide to me and making me become a good teacher and a better person. Dear Lisa, my prayer for you that is in the twilight years of your life, God will keep you safe and with good health, and may you continue to be a blessing to all those whom you interact with even today. Take care and God bless.
Sometimes the job of a teacher can be taken for granted. A teacher wears many hats. A teacher could be a lover of ideas, a performer, a lifelong learner, a historian, a writer, or a friend to former students and colleagues. But above all, the knowledge and ideas that a teacher imparts travels from one generation to the next, thus making it immortal. Now, this is nothing different from the days of Aristotle or Socrates. Learning has progressed over many centuries, and God has chosen teachers as catalysts to perform that role. Teachers like Ms.Elissa Veeranna are once in a generation, and that's why students like me still do remember what she taught us over 40 years ago. Ma'am, together with my fellow batchmates and the thousands of students you have nurtured before and after us, we salute you for being a golden light in our lives. We pray to God that He will grant you happiness and comfort in the coming years. Thank you.